Hello students. Today we will see classification of companies on different basis. So companies may be divided on the basis of liabilities, on the basis of members, or on the basis of control, or on the basis of its incorporation. So there are many. We will see it one by one how many types of companies are there. At first we will see what is a chartered company. So earlier in ancient time companies were actually incorporated by the kingship or the monarchs. So earlier companies were all in form of chartered company like British India, British East India Company. So Chartered Bank of England, Chartered Mercantile Bank of India. These companies come into existence by chartered issued by the king or head of the state. So now these companies are not in existence since there are no more monarchies in the world. So this type of company we can't see now. Then another type of companies is statutory companies. These companies are incorporated by means of a special act of parliament or any state legislature, like Life Insurance Corporation of India. So these companies like Food Corporation of India or LIC have been established by passing a special act in the parliament. These kind of companies are called statutory companies, like the Reserve Bank of India or State Bank of India are also some examples of statutory companies in India. Then one more type has been given in this list, that is registered companies. Those companies which are registered with the registrar of companies in India are called registered companies. Most of the companies presently operating are actually registered companies with the registrar of India, like Tata Iron and Steel Company, Reliance Industries Limited, Hindustan Steel Limited, Maruti Udyog Limited. All are example of registered companies. Then on the basis of liability, the company has been divided into company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, and unlimited company. So, what is a company limited by share? The liability of member or subscribers is limited to the value of that they have guaranteed and does not extend to their personal assets, similar to a company limited by share is called a company limited by shares. Like suppose in a company limited, if a subscriber has taken 5,000 shares for which he has paid rupees 6, whereas the full value of the share is rupees 10, then this kind of company can charge to its member up to rupees 10 only, that is rupees 4 remaining to be paid by the subscriber. So and if in a case where the company is winding up and creditors claim exceeds the assets of the company, then personal assets of the subscriber or the shareholder cannot be attached to pay the debt of the company. So it is only limited up to the share capital contributed by the members. Then comes company limited by guarantee. In this type of company, the liability of every member is limited to the amount which he had undertaken to contribute. That means here the difference between limited by shares and limited by guarantee is that in limited by shares, a shareholder is supposed to pay for the debts of the company to the extent of the share capital paid by him. But here in the article of association or memorandum of association, it is totally mentioned how much guarantee has been taken by the company. In any case, when a company's assets is not enough to pay the debts of the company, then the guarantee which was given earlier by the member will be used to repay the debts, but that guarantee is totally mentioned. This type of company may or may not have a share capital, and members are also not required to contribute capital in which company is operating. This is generally formed to promote art, literature, sports, education, and other non-business activities. Then comes unlimited company. Unlimited company, this company may or may not have a share capital and is rarely used as a trading company. In this kind of company, the liability of the members is unlimited and personal assets of the shareholder may be used to pay the debts of the company. Now, this kind of company is rarely seen nowadays since all companies are limited liability companies. Again, on the basis of nationality, we can divide companies into three groups: Indian companies, foreign company, and multinational company. An Indian company is a company which is incorporated under the Companies Act 2013 or with the register of the companies in India as an company which has a head office in India. Foreign shareholders may also contribute to the share capital, but the company is basically incorporated in India and operates under the Indian companies law. So it will be called an Indian company. Again, foreign company is a company which is registered incorporated outside India and had a place of business in India prior to the commencement of the Companies Act 1957-56 and continues to have at the same place and establishes a place of business in India after the commencement of the Companies Act 2013. These kind of companies, when they open a business in India, they must inform the registrar of the company with prescribed document within 30 days of establishment of such place. Again, multinational companies we see nowadays very much in India also it is present. According to United Nations Commission on Multinational Corporation, a multinational corporation is a corporation which operates in addition to the country in which it is incorporated. That means if a country is operating in at least two countries, then it is called a multinational company. It is big in size, it operates in different companies, and in every country it runs production facilities so that it can use the raw material and labor of that country. Hindustan Lever India, Sony India, Philips India, Siemens India, all these are examples of multinational companies. In India also some multinational companies are there which operate in two or more countries like Tata, Birla, and other banking companies are there.